Hi team. So we'll just wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll start the session so that others can also join. Hi team. So I think we can go and start the session. Meantime, if others are available, they can join the session. So let me share my screen. So we have completed yesterday this one, right? B2111, right? Hello world. So what we'll do right today? Today we'll see the continuation of this one and then we'll see in this one, right? So yesterday if you see, right, we have made this the dynamic, like static, right? In this one it was giving the message always like as one unique message, right? Now suppose if you have to add any logic, right, how we can go and do. So now we can go and start a new integration. Now there are multiple things which we can go and do, right? If suppose this is the same code which you need, right, then what we do, right, here we have the two things, right? We can go and clone, right? Clone is a copy of this one, right? Or we can create a new version. So new version will also create a new integration. Now the question is like, then if we have two things, right, then what is the difference between both, right? When we need the clone and when we can go and do the create a new version, right? So create a new version is like, suppose this is the same requirement, right? And in this one, right, this got upgraded, right? And in this one, some enhancement happened, right? So what will happen, right? That time we will go and create a new version. It means same requirement, right? Logic got modified and we don't want to lose that existing code. So what we are doing, right? We are creating a new version. Then this we will make as a deactivate, and that other one, right, we will go and make a active one, right? So that is what we have, right, in this one. Now what is the second one, right? Clone, right? So clone is kind of a copy, right? When there's a when there's a new requirement only, right? In that new requirement, right, what will happen? Suppose we know, right, that okay, 50% of the code we already have developed in one of the integrations, right? So what we do, right, either we can go and start from scratch, right, or we can go and utilize that piece of code, right? So that time, right, we can go and make a clone, right? It means like new version will be used created when enhancement of this will happen, right? That okay, so that okay, we wanted to keep this version also and that other version also, right? So that time we can go with the create a new version. But clone is a kind of a copy, right? So when we know, right, in one of the integration, right, some of the logic was there which we can reutilize, right? So instead of creating from scratch, right, what we do, right, we can come here and we can go and use that only, right? So that is what we have here. So what we do, right, we can come here and we will make a clone. So when we make a clone, right, so these names like will automatically change, right? Because we know, right, always identifier should be unique, right? So these name will change, right? So what we do right here, we can go and write this as 02 and this we can write a greeting. Right? And this one also, if we want, we can change this also. We can go and make our package. And one more thing, right? I will recommend that, okay, please start doing the hands-on also. So whatever we do, right? Like suppose yesterday we have created this integration, right? So please go in the instance and try to do the same thing. Because when you do right, that time only you will get some questions, you will get into some errors, right? Then only you will learn, right? So what I will say, right, when you create your integration, right, so use B21, then use your name, like how I'm using OIC, right? So instead of OIC, right, just use your name, so that okay, we will differentiate that okay, whose integrations are these one, right? So just write B21 underscore then your name, and same with the package, right? So just write B21 underscore your name, right? So then, right, it will be easy to differentiate for you also and like for me also, right? So that's just follow that naming convention, so that okay, we can go and see, right? Now we can say clone. So if you see, right, what happened, right, new copy got created, right? Now if you said, if I will go and see into this one, right, I have not written not any code, right? But what is happening, right, whatever we have, right, so same thing went came right here, all the code, right? So now we can come directly into this one and we can go and modify. If we want, right, we can go and start from the scratch also, right? But like this is the way of the cloning also, right? So we should know, right, how we can go and clone also. So first we can come into this one, we can go and make the changes here. So now this is not a hello world, right? This is a greeting, right? So first I can change this one, right? Greeting, right? Then this we can say, right, we don't need a get, right? Suppose we can say that okay, we need the post method, right? Or maybe like first we will do with the get and then I will make this only into the post. So greeting, right? So greeting we wanted to make it dynamic, right? Whichever name we will pass, right? So to that name, right, it will go and greet, right? So we need a parameter. So if you see, right, when just we are giving the response, right, what is was happening? It was directly coming to the next page, which was the response page, right? Now what I will do, right, I will come here and I will go and click into this one, right, review parameters, and then I will go. So if you see this time, right, it came into the request parameters, right? So what we do, right, we can go and add one parameter name we can go and pass. So for example, I will write name, right? And what is the data type of that one? So that is a string, right? So we have created one parameter, right? Now we can go and click into continue. So message, right? Message is going to be same, right? So this is going to be same, and this is also greeting only a hello, right? So this will not change anything, right? Now we can go and click into continue. And if you come to the summary this time, right, what will happen, right? Previously, right, we just are able to see these two options, right? Previously, we are able to see greeting, get, and JSON. Now we have added the query parameter, right? So query parameter will also come, right? Now we can go and make changes, finish. So we have modified, right? Now we can go and save. Now what is the next thing, right? Now we here, right? We don't want to hard code here. If you see it previously, right, what we have done, right? We have hard coded, right? So this is the source and this is the target, right? So from here, right, at this step, right, the inputs will, you can consider that, okay, this is the input source and this is the output source. In this one, right, what we have done, right, we have hard coded this one, right, hello world and all, right? So what we do now, right, we can go and delete and we will write again. So either we can come here and we can modify this one directly, right? Or suppose you wanted to, like if multiple are there, right, and you wanted to create from again, right? So you can right click and delete this target node. So what will happen, right? Everything is deleted. Now we can come back here and we can say we wanted to write some logic here, right? So now we wanted to write the greeting message, right? So suppose hello, then whatever the name, right, that we need to print, then we say have a nice day, right? So like that one we wanted to print, right? Now how we can go and print that one, right? Because in this one, right, some text is also there, and then this name will be there, right? If suppose this name we need directly, right, we can go and put the name directly, right? But that is not the thing right here. If you see, right, if directly if we need to see this name, right, we can go and put this name, right? So what will happen? One-to-one mapping happened, but it is not that one, right? We need here the name also, correct? Like the greeting message also along with that one. So what we do, right? We have functions, right? So we can go and write here function. Now how we will get know what all functions are available? So this button, if you see, right, toggle functions, right? So you can click into this one. So whatever the functions are available, right, we can go and see here, right? Boolean function, conversion function, date function, right? So each and everything, right, we will have here. So what we need is like a string function we need. And what we need, right? We need is like concat operation. So we can just drag and drop there here directly, right? So what will happen, right? The function will come. If you know the syntax, right, we can go and write also. It's not necessary that, okay, we need here only, right? So suppose I can write concat directly here also, right? I can write here like this one also, right? So both the things are available. Either we can drag and drop if we don't know the syntax. And the other thing, right, once you click into this one, right, it will go and explain you the about this also. So suppose if you don't know, right, what this function will do, right, then if you see, right, we can go and see, right, joins two different strings, concat, then argument one, argument two, right, two parameters will be there, right? So suppose you don't know, right, what is this compare ignore case, right? You can click into this one and you can see this one, right? So what it is, right? So complete explanation is there about this one, right? So it's not like that, okay? If you don't know, right, how we will understand about that one, right? You can click into that one. So it will give you the example about that one, or it will give you the information about that one, right? So now we know, right, how we can get the toggle functions or mapper functions, right? Now we can just close. Now we need to write the concat message right here. So first we wanted to write hello, hello. Then what is the next one, right? We wanted to print the name, right? So this name what we have, right? So we can go and use this name here. After this, right, what we need to put, right? We need to write some more string, right? So in the concat, right, it was mentioned that, okay, two parameters, right? But you can create any number of here strings you can put, right? So hello, then name, we can say full stop, have a nice day. Right, so suppose this is a message you wanted to print it. Now we can go and save this one. Right, so if you see that we are able to save this one. So we can close. Now we can go and validate this one. It is validated, right? Now what we do, right? We can go and test it out, right? We can see that, okay, whether this is working or not, right? So we can come here, we can save. So this is correct, right? Now what will happen, right? We can go and make this into the active one. So activate and refresh. So this is got activated, right? Now what we do, right? We can go and run this one. If you see, right, this time, right? Previously when we seen, right, in the request here, right, it was nothing coming, right? So if you see, right, we change the greeting, so greeting started coming here, right, in the endpoint. And if you see previously, right, this was not coming, right, but now it is coming, right? And previous, like, it is coming in the parameter because we have defined the parameter, right? So now what we do, right, here response and output, everything will come, right? So for example, right here I can write hello Komal, and if I will go and run, right, so see message, right, hello Komal, have a nice day, right? So we are getting this one, right? So I will say here, hello, Tom, run. So if you see, hello Tom, have a nice day. It means it is working fine. Now if you see, right, this time again, if I will go to the track instance, right? So if you see, right, our primary identifier still is get, right? Now what we do, right? We can go and change this one, right? Because now we have that correct integration, right? We have that name, right, with us. So instead of using that one, right, what we do, right? We can go deactivate. So we can change our business identifier, right? So this was our business identifier right here, right? Previously, which we used, right? Now we have the parameter with us, right? Which is going to be the deciding factor, right? So what we do, right? We can change this one, and this name we can go and put here, right? So this is going to be our own, right? Suppose if you need that method also, right? So we can put that into the secondary, right? Let me just go and put like this into here, secondary, right? So primary we've made this one, and then right we have using this one, right? Now what we do, right? We can go and save, validate it. Now we can just go and activate, and we'll see the difference. Now let me go and run again. So this time, right, I will say John and run. So hello John, have a nice day. Right? It means it is working fine, right? Then I will write one more time for David and run. So hello David, have a nice day, right? It means like whatever name we are passing, right? So with that name, right, we are getting that output, right? So it means like one thing we got that, okay, how we can go and make this change, right? Now this time if I will come to the track instances, right? If you see, right, previously, right, these two were the run, right? So if you see in this one, right, primary identifier, right, it was get method. But now we change the primary identifier, right? So if you see what is coming, right, name John, name David, right? So now with this one, right, we can identify, right? Suppose this is kind of that salary example only, right? So suppose we are paying the salary and we are giving the primary identifier as employee name, right? Now David complaining that, okay, he has not received the salary, right? So what we do, right, we can come here, we can check that, okay, and if David's was one is in the error state, right, we know, right, okay, it is not processed, right? Or if it is completed, right, we can see that, okay, what is happening, right? So all those things, right, we can easily find out, right? But if you see, right, if you don't put the primary identifier, right, then it is very difficult that, okay, which one is there for the debit, right? And if you see, right, we have defined the secondary parameter. So that will come into this business identifiers. If you define the third also, right? So what would happen, right? The third one also would come here, right? So that is how these primary identifiers will help us when we run multiple times, right? And if you see, right, with these one, right, if you see, it is showing this one, right? So what it means, right? After this run, right, we modified some code changes. This is the meaning of this arrow mark. If you see, this instance data might be inaccurate because integration has been updated since this instance was processed, right? It means after this one, right, we have modified the code, right? So if you want, right, because if suppose someone will come, right, they will say that, okay, no, it is not working fine, right? I have made the code changes, right? So I know, right, okay, this is correct only. But suppose if someone else will come and they will see, right, they will say some issue is there, right? Because sometimes it is giving the primary identifier as name, sometimes it is giving this one, right? No, it means like first we ran this one, then we have made some changes, and then this is the one. So when there will be no this arrow, right? It means those things, right, are the latest one, correct? So that is how we can go and see this monitoring page or instance page. So any question into this one if anyone has?
Yeah, Prashant. So, say if we are doing some sales order integration, okay, then we can keep
Yeah,
the sales order number as the identifier there. So that's one
correct,
case.
correct.
Right? And
Yes.
can we search based on the identifier?
Okay, here you wanted to search, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you wanted to search with John. So John.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Thank you.
Now, right, in this one, right, we have seen that, okay, we are making this as a parameter, right? Now we'll see, right, in case if you have to pass that parameter as a payload, right? So this is a get method, right? If you see, right, if I will go and do run, right? So this is the get method, right? If you see get method, correct? Now suppose if I will go and define this as the another method, right? Can I use, right? So let us go and see. We'll deactivate this. Or let us make a clone of this one so that, okay, this will also be there with us. Clone. It is greetings only, but 03 will write so that, okay, it will have the clone. Right? So we can come back to the end point, and here if you see, right, continue. So we are using the get method, right? Can we go and use here post method also? Yes. So we can come here and we'll change this to the post method, right? Now what will happen, right? We will get the request payload also, right? So for example, right, I will not say that, okay, this time, right, we'll use the parameter. If in case if you want, right, we can go and use this also. So let me show with the parameter only first. So if you see it here, we define the, we got the access, right, that, okay, we can define the request payload also, but it is not kind of a mandatory, right? So without that also, right, we can go and continue, right? So in this case, right, what will happen, everything is same, there is no change, right? What we just modify the method only. Now I will just activate and we'll test it out that, okay, what will be the difference between the previous and this one. Now we can come back here, run. So if you see right here, everything is same, no change, right? Only the method got changed here, post, right? So that is what we have, right? So same, right? If I wanted to test with this one, right? John and save. Each and everything is same only, right? So it means like only the method got changed, right? So if suppose customer say that, okay, we cannot accept the get method, right? So that time, right, we can change this post method, right? So if you see, right, in the REST API, right, everything is in our control. Whatever we wanted to make, right, we can make easily, right? But when we see that SOAP, right? So like once we complete this get one, right, REST API is one, right? Then we'll go to the SOAP, right? So that time, right, all these changes, right, won't be possible because that is a protocol based, right? In that one, right, everything is predefined. So we'll see those that time, but like if you said it here, we can go and make and changes easily, right? Now this time, right, we'll see that okay, we'll not get this name through the parameter, right? We'll get there as a payload, right? So what all changes we need to make, right? So we can come here, we can deactivate, come back into this one, and in this one, right, we'll go to the trigger again. Next, so what we'll do, right, we'll go and define the request payload, and we'll say that okay, parameter we don't need, right? So we can uncheck mark, right? We'll say that okay, we need a payload only, right? So we can say continue. Now if you said we came to the request page, right? So we told it that okay, we need a payload, right? So now what we need to do, right? We need to define here the payload. So again, same way, right? How we are defining that output, right? Same way, right? We can go and define the input also. So we can come here, we can write here our payload. So we need the input into this way. We can say here, it will be a name, and we can say test, right? So this is that input which we need, right? We can go and click into continue, and we can go and click into continue and continue. So this time if you see the summary, right, what is the one? It is a greetings post method. Then if you see, we have the request media type also as a JSON and response media type also as a JSON. Now we can say finish. Now if you see, right, we made some changes, right? Once we start made changes, right, if you see, we will get error. So whenever you make any changes or if something can break, right, what will happen, right? We will start getting that errors. So if you see, right, this section was not there, right? But now we got into, right? So first we can go and save so that okay, whatever changes we did, right? So that will be there. If you see, right, the status got also changed to the draft, right? Previously it was in the configured state, right? But now it is in the draft status. Why? Because errors are there, right? Now we can go and see what errors are there. So one is like primary business identifier, right? So one is the primary business identifier and the second is the mapping issue we are getting, right? Why we are getting these two issues? Because the parameter, right? We have removed that parameter, right? So now wherever we have used that parameter, right? All those places, right? It will go and start giving error, right? So first we can go and see this business identifier. So if you see right here, it will show that okay, it is in the query parameter, right? The business identifier. But now if you see it, there is no query parameter, right? There is no parameter section itself. What we have is like request payload, right? So what we do, right? We can go and modify this from this one, right? So we can just drag and drop this one. So now what will happen, right? We got changed, right? Now I can go and save. So now if you see, right, only one we are getting, right? And if you see, this is a warning, right? This is not a error, right? Correct. So what it means, right? It means like if you make this one, it is okay. If you don't make, right, that is also okay. If you see, right, it got into the configured state. It means your output will not be correct, right? Because there's no mapping and all, right? But your integration will not. It's not like you cannot run the integration. Still, you can go and make the changes. You can run the integration. But it is recommended that okay, if any warnings will also be there, we need to resolve those, right? Because that is like some issue only, right? So if you want, like suppose here like one only we have, right? But when you have a big list, right? So in this all right, what will happen? Everything will show. In error side, only error will show. In the warning tab, only warning it will go and show. Correct? So that is what we have here. Now what we do, right? We can come to this one or directly we can click into this one. So we came here, right? So if you see it, whatever this mapping was there earlier, right? So that was a wrong mapping, right? Here. If you see this mapping, right? This mapping is wrong, right? Because we don't have the query parameter, right? So what we have this time, right? With this time we have this is from the request wrapper. So what we do, right? We know, right? This one is giving the error, right? So we can go and remove this one. What we do, right? We can drag and drop this here, right? And now I can click into save. So if you see previously, it was into this one, right? Warning, right? Now what we do, right? We can click into save. So this time it is a correct, right? So mapping is correct here. Now we can go and validate this time. and we can go and back. So now this time, right, if you see, there is no error, right? We can go and save. Now we can come back again, activate and debug. Refresh. Now we can go and run this again. This time if you see, right, here in the output, right, it is a post method, right? That is okay. If you see, right, there is no parameter section. So where is our input is, right? So now that will come into the body, right? So if you see, right, it came into the request body, right? So here, right, if we have the file, right, we can drag and drop that whole file in the payload if we have, right? Or we can just go and put here, right? So now what I will do, right, I will put here Komal and click into run. If you see, right, our output is still same, right? Hello Komal, have a nice day. But this time, right, instead of using from the parameter, right, what we are doing, right, we are using the payload, right? So that is what we have here, right? Now you can go and change here. David. So hello David, have a nice day, right? So this is how, right, the whole flow it is working, right? So if you want, right, so based on the requirement, right, we can go and use. If we need to use the parameter, we can go and use the parameter. If we wanted to use the body, we can go and use the body, right? So if you see, right, output was same, right? Only what we have used the different ways of achieving the same thing, right? So now based on the requirement and all, right, we can go and use. It is just up to the logic that, okay, our logic should be correct, right? So this is how we can go and use the, for the trigger, right, different methods, right? And for the trigger part, right, we can go and use like that get method and invoke method. Any questions if anyone has till now?
Yeah. So the functions we have drag and drop, right?
Right.
So can we have custom functions also there?
Yes, we can have.
Okay.
So if I will go and show you that one. Integrations. If you said, I told you the libraries concept, right? The library is the JavaScript function what we have, right? So here we can go and write our JavaScript code. In that one, right, we can define our function. For example, right, this was the function, right, which we have defined, right, test function. And let me go and modify this name. So I will say okay, I think I cannot change the name here. So just give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry, I'm using this one. Edit use I have to use. Right, so function name I will write test. I will write custom function ABC, right? So suppose this is my function name, right? Now our expectation is like that this should come there, right? We can click into save, right?
Yeah.
We can go and use this one. We can go and save. So now what will happen, right? This will be exposed, right? Now let us go and see that, okay, whether this function name, right, will come there or not. We can come here, deactivate. We can come back here. We can come to the mapper. Now come back to the toggle function. And here, right, we wanted to see that one, right? So if you this last one, right, user defined. So if you go and expand this one, right? So in this one, right, what will happen, right? Whatever the one we have created, right? So those will come here.
Okay.
So if you see, right, our function name, custom function ABC. So whatever the functions we have defined, use, right? we have defined into all those, right? So all those list, it will come here, custom function, right? That is
Yeah.
how you can go and use these custom functions. That is what I told, right? Like suppose in any scenario, right, if you will not able to achieve the existing requirement, right, then what we do, right, we have this concept of the libraries. So we can write the libraries function, then we can go and start utilizing those here. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah. Yeah, Prashant. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions if we have? Okay. So if no question, right? So now what is the next topic, right? We will see. So this till now, right, what we have done, right? We have used only the trigger part only, right? Now we'll say that, okay, in case if you have to... Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Prashant,
Yeah,
can you hear
please.
me?
Yeah, please.
No, I have one question. I was like, so we got warning, right? Initially.
Right,
Mm.
right.
So if we ignore the warning, if we run it, it won't work, right?
Your integration will work, but like it won't give you the output, correct output.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if suppose we wanted to do, right, like suppose we wanted to try out, right? So what I can do, right? Let me come here. And this request parameter name, right? We can go and change this name. I will send this one, employee name, and continue, 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 and finish. So we'll start getting error again, right? So if you see, we got the 2 errors, right? Now if you see it in all, right, we will able to see all the errors. Only errors we wanted to see, we can click into errors. Only warnings we can go and see, right? So same 2 errors again came, right? Because we have modified the name of that one, right? So first, suppose we can, so we know, right? Business identifier, right? We have to modify, because error with the error, right? We cannot go and proceed. For example, right? I will modify this one. I will save. Right now we have the warning, right? So you are saying that, okay, if we don't make this warning correct, right? Can we go and run, right? So let us see. Now our integration is having one error, right? Like warning, not error. Now let us go. If you see with the warning, right, it will allow us to activate also, because it is in the configured state, right? Now come back again and we'll do the run. Into the body and David we are passing, run. So if you see it, hello, have a nice day, right? So what is happening, right? We are not getting the correct output. We are getting that output, right? But not the correct output, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
We'll use this employee name, right, as a name. Run. So still I am not using, right? Getting, right? So why we are not getting? Because of this one, right? So it means like you can test it out, right? But it is always recommended that, okay, if any error or warning, right, we need to resolve, because this is a small integration, right? Just input only. When it is a big integration, right? So that time, right, we don't know, right, at what point it can go and break, right? And where these values will be used, right? So that time, right, it would be very difficult to figure out or to make the changes, right? So it is recommended, if you make any changes, if OIC will start showing you error and warnings, right? First fix those error and warnings, so that, okay, we can come back to the correct state. So this is what we have here. Now what is the next? Okay, now what is the next one is like, till now, right, we have seen that, okay, how we can start our integrations, right? How we can do the different systems and all, right? Now in real example, right, it is not like this one requirement, right, that, okay, start the integration and give some message and all, right? We need to interact with some other system also, right? So what we do, right, we will use one dummy server which we have, rec request. So this is like one website which we have. So that is there for the testing purpose, right? So in this one, right, the REST APIs will be there. So this is a dummy server, or you can consider that, okay, this is a dummy target system, right? Now we wanted to communicate with this one, right? So how we will go and communicate with this one? So in this one, right, what we have, right, we have the different API, right? List users, right? To get the all the list of the users, single user, right? Then we have the create update, right? So different ways we have, right? So this only we can consider as a target system, right? So in any example, right, if any company you wanted to one, right? So they will expose the REST APIs in the same way, right? Only one additional thing will be there is like the authentication, right? So they will put the authentication. So here, if you see, right, we are able to see that output directly, right? But in that case, right, we're not able to see that output directly. We need to write the rest, like username and password you need to provide, then only we can go and access. But for testing purpose, right, or for our concepts, right? So this is okay, right? So we'll see how we can go and use this kind of thing, right? So now, first of all, right, when we know, right, if we have to use any system, right, any target system or any system, right, what we need to do, right, we need to define, right, the connection, right? So what we do, right, we can come here and we can go and define the connection for this one, right? So we can go create, and this is a REST only, right? So we can say REST only, REST. Now what we do, right? Here we can go and give the name. So we can say B21 underscore REST. Then we can write the server name, right? We can say rec response underscore. Then what is the next one, right? We can say invoke connection, right? It is going to be the invoke connection, right? Or suppose if we don't write, we can go and put the both, right? So we can write here connection only, rec request, right? And I will go and use these both options, trigger and invoke, right? So this is for the rec request, right? So we can go and click into create. Now what we need to do, right? We need to define the thing, right? So it is a REST API base, right? So we can say REST API base URL. What is the connection URL, right? So the connection URL is this one, right? Rec request. So we can go and put this rec request. Right? So we can define this one. Now what is the next one, right? We can come here and see the authentication. So for this one, right, there is no authentication, right? So we can go and put here no authentication. But in case, right, if any type of authentication will be there, right? So we can go and put that corresponding. For example, right, OCI signature, API key based, auth, right? So any type of security it will be, right? So we can go and attach that one, right? So that is what we have. Here we have no security, so we'll go with the no security only. Then suppose if this system, right, is inside the appropriate, right? So if you see, if it is over the internet, right? If you see this is over the internet, right? So what we do, right, directly we can go and use the public gateway. If suppose this is in the private network, right? So suppose some VPN and all, right? So we need to define this private endpoint, right? Or if it is part of the connectivity agent, right? So suppose this is not on the internet, right? So that time, right, what we do, right? We can go and use a corresponding connectivity agent, right? So we can use the connectivity agent and we can go and associate that connectivity agent. So as of now, right, this is on the public only, right? So we can say public gateway, right? Because we are able to access this one using the internet, right? So that is what, now what we do, right? We can go and click into save. So if you see, right, all are completed, right? All the configuration process. Now we can go and click into save. So if you see, right, we are able to save this one, right? It means like we are able to complete this one, right? So this is how we can go and establish any connection. So when we use the Fusion, right? Fusion REST API, right? So that time, right, I will explain that, okay, how we can put the authentications also, right? Because that time, right, without authentication, we cannot access, right? But only the here only it is going to be changed. Rest all things, right? Whether it is a Fusion, whether it is a this server, whether it is any third party client, right? All the REST APIs concepts are going to be same, right? So that is what we have here. So any questions into this one if anyone has? Okay. So if no question, right, then what we'll do, right? We'll go and create the new integration. We can come to the connections. Create new connection. Application. we'll say B21 underscore OIC. We can say rec request response, and which API will try. For example, right, login API will try, right? So it means we'll pass the username and password, and we need to see this token, right? So this is what we will try, right? And this is our post method, right? So instead of post, right, let me go and use the, okay, we'll use the post only. We already seen, right, the post also. Underscore login underscore post, right? So we'll able to see post, and this is integration underscore 04, right? Now we'll go and put this into our B21 OIC and create. So if you said it is completely beginning, right? So to start the integration, right, we just need the trigger connection only. We'll not use a REST request invoke connection because this is starting point, right? So for starting point, right, we can go and use a trigger connection only, right? So we can say here, and what we do, right, we can say, we can give the name as rec request, right? We can go and click into continue. And what we are trying to do, right, we are trying to do login, right? So we can say slash login, right? Now this is a post method, right? We'll go and use the post method. So if you see it, whatever we are defining this one, right, this is as of now, right, we are not defining with the system, right? We're defining the our own only, right? The custom one only we are defining it. So we can say request payload and response payload we need, right? We can go and click into continue. And now we can define the request payload. So what is the request payload it is going to be, right? So this one, right? This is we are using the starting point, right? The trigger is our own, right? So if you say right here, they are saying email and password they need, right? And token. Do we need to see the same, right? If you wanted to put same, we can put the same. If you wanted to put the different name, we can put the different name, right? So for example, right, we'll use the same name first, and then we'll go and modify and we'll see the different names here. So we'll use the same only, continue. We'll go and click into continue. Response also, right? So we'll come here and we'll use the same, right, token only. And continue. Continue and finish. We can change the orientation and we can go and save, right? So if you see, right, what we are able to do till now, right, it is our only, right? We are not still connected with the system, endpoint system, right? We can go and resolve this error first. We know, right, it is a business identifier error. We can come here and this email, right, we can go and use as a business identifier. We can go and save. Right? So if you see, right, it is working fine. Now, till now, right, if I wanted to test it, and all right, we are not connected with this system, right? Now we wanted to connect with that system, right? So how we can do it? So this is our starting point, this is the ending point, right? In between, right, we need to put that one, right? So what we do, right, we can click into this plus button, and here, right, if you see connections. Now if you see right here, only invoke connections will get, not the trigger connection. Right? If you see right here, which we use, right? We use REST trigger connection, right? So this connection we already use, right? So it is just showing connections in use, right? But we cannot go and use. Available connections are this one, right? So only invoke connections it will go and show. So we wanted to use this one, right? So we can say rec request. Now this is the one, right? So what we are trying to do here, right? So that we need to call right here, right? So we are doing the login, right? So we can say login. We can say external login, right? External login, right? Now in this one, right, we need to give that all the information as it is. We cannot change anything, right? So with this one, right, if you wanted to communicate, right, so this is the endpoint, right, what we have, right? So we have to give this same endpoint, right, slash API slash login. So endpoint, right, we have to give the same only, slash API slash login. Now why we need to give the same only? Because it is with the system, right? If suppose I will not give this as it is, right? For example, this one, right? If you see, this will give that output, right? If suppose here I will write something else, right? API XYZ, any random thing I will write, right? It will not give the correct output, right? Here it is giving they are exposed that one, but it is not the correct way, right? So due to that reason, right, we need to use the same only, right? We told API. What is a method, right? So method name we can see. This is the post method. So we can go and use the post method. This will have the request and response payload. Request and response payload. We can go and click into continue. Now here, right? If you see in the step one, right? If you want, we can go and modify, but here we cannot go and modify. We have to use the same format, right? Because this is with the third party system, right? And third party system is using these variables only, right? So what we do, right? We need to give everything same when we use an invoke connection. Continue. Continue. Response. Token. Continue. And continue. And finish. So we can go and save. So if you see, right, what is happening, right? One more connection got created, right? And as I told, right, only for yesterday I was explaining it, only for the trigger, right, the mapper will be created after this. Rest all right, the mapper will be created in front, right? So if you see, right, external login, the mapper of this one, right, this is the mapper, right? Now whatever the input we'll get from here, right, those things we need to pass to this value, right? So with the help of mapper, right, we will pass that one. And if you see it, as of now, right, both are unconfigured, right? We have not made any change, right? So due to that reason, it is coming in the dotted, right? Now what we do, right? Whatever the parameter we are having here, right? Inputs, right? So those we need to pass to this one, right? So we can go in and change this mapper. So if you say external login request, and this is our rec request, right? The source will be this one, right? So in this one, right, we have the email and password, and in this also, right, in the request wrapper, right, we have the email and password. So we'll do one-to-one mapping, email, and we'll do the password. We can go and validate. So if you see, mapper got validated successfully. Now we can go and save. Now if you see, right, we have done the mapper for this one, so dotted lines gone. Now this one. Now what is the one, right? We have passed the input, it will run the service, and then it will get that output, right? Now that output, right, we need to return from the integration, right? That output we need to map with this one, right? So we can come here, and whatever, in this case, in this mapper, right, if you see, source is the external login, and output is the custom output what we have, right? Token. So we need to get the output from the external login here, right? External login, response wrapper, and this token, right? So this token we will go and pass here. We can go and do the validate. Now we can come back here and save, right? So if you see, right, our integration got completed. We are passing our custom, then those things we are passing to the third party system. Third party system will run, and then that the response it will come here, right? So that is how it will be. Now what we do, right, we can go and test it out to see how the output will come. So we can go and activate this one first. Activate. Refresh. Now what we do, right, we can go and run this one. So we can come to the body. So this is a email and password, right? So same information. We can go and run. So if you see, we are getting the token, right? So what is happening, right? If I will go and show the diagram, right? So we are passing the input here. Those inputs are going to the system, third party system. Third party system is running the API. That output is coming, and that output is coming to us, right? So that is how the whole flow is coming, right? So we are able to see, right, how we can connect with the third party system also, right? So in next class, right, what we'll do, right, we'll see in this only, right, some other thing, right? That okay, how we can go and try out some more things. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. We can go and take those questions, or else we'll wrap up the session today here only. Any questions if anyone has?
So Prashant, can you please show us that output, I mean, the response which we have got?
Okay, the output. Yeah, for example, I will run again. So this is that output what we have.
The output will get token number.
What?
No, in like response will get the token number.
Yeah, we will get the token because this is that output from this one, right? Token.
External restricted correct.
Yeah, so that we will get here token output. Tomorrow, right? What we'll do, right? We'll go and change these our parameter names like this one, right? Because the custom one, right? We can modify. So tomorrow we'll see, right? If we can modify this one, right? Still this will work or not.
So these are the free REST API available in websites.
This is the like one kind of like you can consider this dummy server. So for the developers, right? For the testing purpose, right? To if anyone wants to practice, right? The REST API concepts and all, right? So for that, right? This is available.
Okay, new demo dashboard something, right? What is the name of this website? Sorry.
Yeah, it is rec response. Request and response, it is the one. But you can write like rec request, rec response. So you just write this one, rec response.in, it will come. If not, like I will put into the group in case if you need.
Okay.
I will just say that, okay, whatever we are doing in the session, right? Please go and do the hands-on so that, okay, right? You will get some idea that, okay, because I know all these things, so I am doing easily, right? But when you do, right, because you are doing first time, right? So you will get some issues and all, right? Then only you will learn that, okay, why you are getting this issue, why it is happening like this one, right? So please go and start doing the hands-on also. And are you guys available tomorrow? If you are available, we can plan the class for tomorrow also. Let me ask the question in the other way. If anyone is not available tomorrow, let me know. Jam, Manas.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm not sure, Prashant. So
Okay. Okay, so for this week, right, I think we can take a break. Maybe next week, right, if you guys are available, we can plan.
okay.
Okay. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.